Story 1. Not taking care of your health by eating poorly, not exercising, replacing sleep with energy drinks, using drugs, consuming alcohol, or smoking. Story 2. All the advice older adults have been telling you about your whole life. Lift with your legs, not your back. Brush your teeth. Floss. Invest in a retirement fund. Spend time with your family. Travel. Read. Vote. Wear sunscreen. Exercise regularly. If elderly people do it, it probably matters. Story 3. Being in a relationship or marrying someone who is totally wrong for you. I see brilliant, promising, and good people ruin their lives in their 40s because they chose the wrong partner. Story 4. The career you love in your 30s you might hate in your 40s. Give yourself an option. Have another skill set to rely on just in case. Story 5. Losing your functional mobility. I do a lot of kettlebells now, and I have discovered that my balance has weakened since my youth. Feels good to reclaim it. Story 6. Stay faithful to your partner. Many men find their life partners in their early to mid-20s. By the time you reach your mid-30s, you may both just be going through the motions, and a single flirtatious gesture from a coworker can undermine your entire 40s if you stray. It is never worth it. Many men often say, "I wish I had not ruined that relationship." Story 7. Addictions, criminal records, poor health, or financial habits, such as debts rather than savings, in your 30s require taking a longer-term view of most matters. Story 8. I think it becomes clear in most people's 30s if they will keep their bodies in shape throughout the rest of their lives. Many fit people in their 20s gained 50 pounds in their 30s that never went away. Story 9. Limiting yourself because of anxiety or fears. Time goes by fast. It is important to prioritize what you like and what you want in life. Do you really want something but keep postponing it because it stresses you out? Forget that. Just do it. You will be grateful that you did. Story 10. I'm in my mid-40s now. I know at least 2 men I grew up with, one a close friend, who have died from alcoholism. The rest of us look around at each other thinking, it could have happened to any of us, honestly, the way we all used to act. My point is this: alcohol is fun. It's an enjoyable activity to share with friends, and it's easy for it to become the reason you gather with them. But beware of a slippery slope down a dangerous path. From overdrinking to be the life of the party, to drinking casually throughout the week and binge drinking on weekends, to frequent heavy drinking even when alone, to full-blown dependency with your life and health spiraling out of control. The path is much shorter than you might think until your friends come to your hospital room one by one to say goodbye, some later admitting they never realized how bad things had become. Story 11. Mistake. Continuing to eat like you are in your 20s. You do not have to go on a crazy diet, just stop eating so much junk and change small things, like getting more vegetables every so often. Start cooking at home, look up quick and easy healthy meals, and try making them. Even doing that one more time a week than you did in your 20s will start to have an impact. Just keep making small steps, and by the time you hit 40, you will be eating a lot healthier before your metabolism slows down and you start gaining weight rapidly. Story 12. Pretty much the same advice applies lifelong. Exercise to maintain a pain-free body. Try to eat a reasonably healthy diet. Get 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night. Protect your hearing by buying foam earplugs and using them when doing yard work, using power tools, or going to concerts if you are close enough to the speakers. I learned this too late and have noticeable hearing loss in my 40s. Story 13. Not seriously investing in building and maintaining friendships. Many people get divorced in their 40s and then find themselves alone. Story 14. Your teeth. Get cleanings every 6 months, floss regularly, and avoid excessive amounts of soda and sugary coffee. You hit 40, and your teeth start disintegrating if they have not been cared for. This is also the time to start thinking about retirement planning. Story 15. I know this is a very capitalist thing to say, but you need to fight hard to earn more money. Don't get complacent with a low-paying job. Improve yourself, learn new skills, and reach the level that will let you truly enjoy life. Many problems can be solved with a bigger paycheck. Lots of people sell themselves short and assume they have to be stuck in lower-wage jobs. Story 16. 1. Mistake is getting into too much debt, spending too much, and not saving. In your 30s, you have over 30 years until retirement. After that, time passes quickly. Starting good retirement savings early allows it to grow 2 to 4 times just through returns. If you accumulate too much debt in your 30s, you will spend your 40s paying it off and have trouble saving. During that time, more people will rely on you, you will have more obligations, and you will be less able to sacrifice to save. Once you have children, getting roommates is more complicated. Caring for elderly parents also makes getting a second job more complicated. Mistake is physical degeneration and not caring for yourself. In your 30s, soreness from working out lasts less time, and exercise yields faster, more visible results than in your 40s. 42-year-olds are not falling apart, but by 45 it becomes noticeable that some people are aiming for an early death, while others are in the prime of life. Go to the doctor and exercise regularly. Mistake is not having a clear definition of the good life that can continue for the next 30 years. If a good life means drinking with friends 4 nights a week, partying and crashing, it will become harder and harder to maintain, both physically and because of changing friendships. The good life that is rewarding for most people requires hard work and sacrifice early on. Identify what that is for you and do the work. Date with intention to find a partner. Have children and care for them when they are young and needy. Learn and develop a marketable skill. Build a community of like-minded people. Learn how to resolve conflicts. By age 40, some people have stable lives, friends, relationships, and are on a path to achieving what they want. Others are just waking up. Story 17. If you start to have a health problem, get it checked and treated early before it develops into something more serious. I lost friends to cancer in their 30s and early 40s. I saw people lose their health because of untreated problems. I saw people become unwell with chronic illnesses. Your body is not as resilient as it was when you were younger, and many issues can begin to arise. Take better care of yourself and do not let problems worsen if you can help it. Story 18. Avoiding difficult conversations and decisions. Trust me, the more difficult conversations you have in your 30s, the easier life will become in your 40s. Career, children, and stability all thrive when you are willing to take risks. Story 19. Paying so much attention to your career that you do not spend the time you need with your family is important to reconsider. I am especially referring to your children if that is your situation. This decade will end up blessing or hurting you and them for the rest of your life. Story 20. I got sober at 34 and really started cleaning my life up in my mid-30s. I'm 43 now and went from a couch potato to an endurance athlete. I love to travel and paint. I have money and investments, and early retirement is on the horizon, which I did not have before. I also have huge plans for the next 5 years and the next 10, along with many goals that I am excited to pursue. Life did not have that kind of excitement when I was drinking. Story 21. As a 33-year-old learning this, let no one tell you no. Take that trip. Do the risky move. Follow your gut. Listen to your heart. And yes, ignore people who say your life is over at 30. The only thing I wish I could do right now is get moving. Story 22. Not starting a retirement account is a mistake. Do it even $10 a paycheck or $5. The more, the better. Do it every week and you will not even notice it. Story 23. Lifestyle creep. I think most of my friends and I started making decent money and advancing in our careers in our 30s and actually had some disposable income for the first time. Some bought expensive cars, designer bags, costly vacations, new clothes for every event, expensive concerts and festivals, and ate out constantly. Fewer of us chose investing, saving, and avoiding many concerts, trips, or shopping sprees. I can definitely say that the smart savers and less flashy spenders are having a much better time now that we are all approaching 40. I'm not saying don't enjoy your earnings or don't have fun. I go on about 25% of the girls' trips. They take a lot of trips. I don't own anything designer, but I bought a nice car that I enjoy and paid it off early. I have a beautiful house that will be paid off in 10 years, well before I retire. I go out to girls' dinners but don't buy a lot of alcoholic drinks or extras and try to stay within budget. I am maximizing my retirement contributions, paying off my house faster, and just paid off my student loans. Then I listen when they stress about finances, how much debt they are in, and how they haven't started saving for retirement. I know I am making the right choices. It is not always the most fun route, but I am not as financially stressed as many of my peers. Have fun and enjoy life, but plan for your future as well. Story 24. For me, it's health-based. Take care of yourself, eat well, exercise regularly, drink less, and so on. Honestly, that's good advice for your 20s too. But in your 20s, you can do all of that and essentially get away with everything. In your 30s, you can still do all of it and think you're getting away with it, but you're really not. And you're setting yourself up for some uncomfortable realities and doctor conversations in your 40s if you don't get your health together. Once you hit your 40s, you will not be able to eat whatever you want, neglect sleep, or drink too much. Those things will catch up with you much faster in real time. Your 30s are the sweet spot when your body thinks it's in your 20s but will make you pay for it later. Don't let it. Story 25. In time, most friends become as useless as relatives. A line from the film Georgia Rule. I haven't spoken to my siblings in years, nor my biological mother. I couldn't even recognize the sound of their voices. The best thing I have done for myself was learn that I am deserving of respect and capable of achieving the life and lifestyle of my choosing. My advice is to let go and pursue your interests and responsibilities. Story 26. It is easier to stay fit than to get fit. Prioritize exercise and taking care of your body. You still need this body for another 50+ years. Story 27. Save your money. Spend responsibly and plan for the future. Your future self will appreciate it. Story 28. Buy a home if you can afford it and plan to live in a particular area long term. Real estate ownership is a hedge against inflation and high consumer interest rates. Tax treatment is generally favorable. Story 29. Keep moving and stretch. In your 40s, you really begin to notice stiffness, sadly. Ask someone in their 30s to bend down and pick up something off the ground. They will probably do it by just bending over without skipping a beat. Now ask someone in their 40s. You will probably notice they will dip down instead of bending. Aging is difficult. Story 30. Not saving enough towards retirement in my 20s and 30s. Tighten your belt and try to put 20% away, preferably in a Roth individual retirement account. If you do that at minimum, retirement can come early and comfortably. Story 31. Putting any amount of money toward retirement is important. I think retirement felt so far away in my 30s, but very real in my 40s. The power of compound interest would have really reduced my stress in my 40s for sure. I am opening a Roth individual retirement account for my teenager this summer, and I am going to deposit the equivalent of their summer job income to start them off. Story 32. Don't forget to exercise, whether through a gym, a hobby, or any other activity. You might turn 30 and think, I look pretty good. But that is simply not enough. It's not just that your body will take longer to heal or that you will gain weight more easily. It is a mental challenge that becomes really tough. Exercise should be a priority. In addition, do not let yourself become sedentary. On a different but equally important note, make memories by being present in the moment. Put your phone away, put your laptop away, talk to your friends and spend time with people. These moments fade and are replaced by various devices. Do not let that happen. Story 33. If you are getting married in your 30s or any other time in your life, not getting a prenuptial agreement is a great way to lose everything. Story 34. If you have not already, start planning for retirement and living a healthier life. Story 35. Debt. You will likely be well into your career, making decent money, and get the urge to spend instead of save. Next thing you know, you are drowning in debt with no savings. God forbid the economy takes a downturn or something else happens to your health or job. Start saving as soon as possible. Story 36. Avoid debt whenever possible. Live within your means. Also, take good care of your diet, exercise, and dental care. Story 37. Do not drink alcohol, smoke or vape, or use drugs. Rare mushrooms and tetrahydrocannabinol might be harmless. Avoid these things completely for the best overall health. Story 38. Stop smoking, reduce your alcohol consumption, and exercise daily. You do not need to join a gym, you just need to exercise daily. Morning exercises, walking more, taking the stairs, and stretching will give you many extra years of mobility. Story 39. I am in construction with over 15 years of experience. I wish I had been as diligent when I started about taking care of my hearing. My tinnitus is not the worst, but it is definitely present at all times. Story 40. Maximize your retirement savings and give compound interest an extra 10 years to grow. If you start late, you will have significantly less. Story 41. You should make sure you have a backup plan if your country falls into a white supremacist dictatorship. Consider learning Spanish or saving enough money to buy property in Asia. Story 42. Credit cards. Just do not do it. Use one and be done. Do not max it out and pay every month as though your life depends on it. Trust me, it does. Your future self will thank you. Story 43. Do not make bad decisions that will torment you later in life. If something is questionable, search your soul before you act. Story 44. Mistakes to avoid. Not paying attention to your health. Not advancing your earning potential, whether in career or business. In your 40s, it is much harder to start some things. Marrying the wrong person. Focusing too much on good times. There is nothing wrong with enjoying some, but do not make it your main priority. I made mistakes number 2 and number 4 and did not work much on number 1. I am lucky so far. My health is okay. I have never married. My career and earning potential are not great, but I do not need much. Story 45. Pay into your pension, especially if your employer matches up to a certain percentage. The real impact will be in your 60s and later, but it reduces the stress of having to save aggressively from your 40s onward to make up time and value. Story 46. Assuming you know everything is worth avoiding at any point in life. Still, it seems common that many people reach 30 and think they have learned all there is to know, becoming less open to change going forward. The only thing I know is that I know nothing. Socrates. Story 47. Learn to think critically. Do not fool yourself. Work on disproving your opinions and guesses. Pay attention. Story 48. Please, if you have not started investing in your retirement plan in your 20s, then start immediately. At the very least, get the full match from your employer. The sooner you start, the wealthier you will be. A 20-year-old investing $5,000 annually, approximately $200 per paycheck, who stops at age 30 and never invests another dollar, should have more than double the amount of a person just starting in their 40s investing $5,000 per year until retirement. Now imagine if you put some focus into it. Compound interest only works with time. Time is the key here. Start now. Story 49. Taking care of your significant other, whether it be taking care of their family, health, or your relationship. Your spouse will be the biggest asset you have as you get older. Invest in it. Story 50. Having children with a difficult person can be challenging. You can never fully escape them, and you have to constantly worry about how they treat your children. Story 51. Absolutely good question. One of the biggest mistakes to avoid in your 30s is coasting. Just going through the motions thinking there is still plenty of time to figure things out later. That mindset sneaks up on you. Your 30s are like the halftime show. It's still early, but the game has definitely started. So if you are not being intentional, whether with your money, health, relationships, or even how you spend your free time, it will catch up by your 40s. And not in a fun way. Try not to put things off thinking your future self will magically figure it all out. Story 52. Neglecting your physical, mental, and financial health is the biggest mistake that can quietly snowball by your 40s. Story 53. Probably staying in a low-earning position for too long. In the 20s, one can earn below their potential because it is a stage of learning and exploring. In the 30s, you start to compete with those in their 20s and 40s for normal positions. By the 40s, you need to create value and have a skill set, soft or hard, that places you higher in the value chain. If you don't improve in your 30s in many ways, it will be much more difficult to make your 40s comfortable and, by extension, your 50s. It is cumulative by then. In my opinion, The 30s are when you have to make important life decisions well. Choose well. Use time well. Navigate well. There is no foresight in life. You just have to keep your thinking and decision-making skills sharp throughout life. Good luck to all. Story 54. Don't stop exercising. If you have an exercise routine that works for you, keep doing it. If you don't have something that works, find something and make it a habit. I made a mistake by letting my different exercise classes drop one by one without replacing them. Then someone close to me died. I ate my feelings and gained weight that is hard to lose. I am still trying to get back to where I was. I am sure that is why my back, hip, and shoulder started hurting. Story 55. Take an honest look at yourself. If you have multiple toxic relationships, the issue might very well be you. Find a therapist and try to uncover the root causes. Story 56. All great advice. I would add, do not think growing up means not enjoying sex. I think this often happens with disastrous results. Sex is how adults play. Enjoy it. Story 57. Focus on your health if you have not made it a priority in your 20s. It is a pivotal time to start healthy habits that will hopefully stay with you for the rest of your life. Limit alcohol and unhealthy food. Story 58. This is really the last decade where 1, you can lean into your career and really accelerate. And 2, you get the compounding gains from investments since retirement is 30 years away. Story 59. Drinking alcohol, smoking tobacco, and using drugs. Not being physically active and having poor eating habits. I am over 40 years old, and when I look around me, that is what I see most of the time. People my age, both women and men, often appear unhealthy because of one or more of these habits. Story 60. Save as much as you can for retirement. If you are not married with children, responsibilities that cost a lot like mortgage and childcare, you can set your future self up in a way that will be more difficult later. Time in the market and compound interest should not be underestimated. Sacrifice the petty things. Story 61. The habits you have in your 30s will be the habits you have in your 40s. If you eat healthy, exercise, keep friendships you want to maintain, and have a budget and financial plan, those are what you will take into your 40s. In your 30s, you make an effort to stay friends with married friends, especially those living in other cities. If you move for work, maintaining friendships takes effort. For family who live in other states or cities, you need to call or use video calls occasionally. Story 62. Do not quit your current job until you have another job. It is too easy to get stuck and not be able to get employment because you are unemployed. Financial issues arise and that can make everything fall apart, bad choices be made, and so on. Story 63. Take care of your body. In your 30s, it is hard to picture having aches that last more than 24 hours or an injury that now heals in a few weeks but will take a few months in your 40s. Learn healthy eating and exercise habits now. They will pay dividends in the decades to come. Story 64. I made a huge mistake by not seeking therapy sooner, especially after losing my parents and close family members. Story 65. Exercise regularly. Make it as easy as possible by going to the gym nearest to you or taking a walk around the block for 15 to 20 minutes a day. Consistency is key. Eat better. Have more variety in your meals. Try different vegetables, fruits, grains, and more. It is easier to make small changes to what you already eat than to change everything at once. If you like white rice, try quinoa. If you enjoy toast in the morning, rye or pumpernickel is higher in fiber and lower in carbohydrates. If you like fried foods, get an air fryer and use olive oil. Save and invest. Open a Roth individual retirement account and contribute as much as you can every month. Do the same with a high-yield savings account. Automate transfers using your bank's bill pay feature so you do not have to think about it. Eliminate debt. Avoid consumer debt like credit cards, car payments, and buy now, pay later plans. If you use a credit card, pay it off in full every month. If that is difficult, then you may not be a credit card person, and that is okay. Debt limits your future financial flexibility and options, and you never know when you might need that flexibility more than now. Build better quality relationships. Learn to be okay with walking away from people who make you feel less than or uneasy. You will be fine. Also, Take lessons from every experience. Ask yourself what you could have done better and what you will be more aware of in the future. Story 66. Getting addicted, either to drugs or to alcohol. Yes, it can happen to you and it will ruin your 40s or more. Story 67. At age 30, we lose about 0.5 to 1% of muscle mass per year. You should start lifting weights regularly to maintain your muscles or even push yourself a bit harder to gain muscle. Story 68. Pay attention to your injuries and have them examined. Do not just lower the weight and push through. There is a reason it hurts. Story 69. Save for retirement. Get your base by 40. That is really the last major period you have left to let the money work. If you are starting at 40, that is difficult. Story 70. I turned 47 in 2 months. I would say the biggest mistake I avoided was not marrying the right person and working hard on our marriage. Story 71. Los 30 son clave para construir una buena base financiera. Dejar de acumular deudas, ahorrar, planificar el retiro y evitar la inflación del estilo de vida te aseguran más libertad después. Story 72. Having children when you are poor is generally a bad idea. However, if you are young, you might be able to recover before your 40s, especially if you are somewhat financially literate. Story 73. Definitely drinking, drugs including marijuana, smoking, too much fast food, facial products or fillers, etc. You will look old by age 40 if you continue that lifestyle and may experience health issues early on. What you do now determines your future. Look after your health now. Story 74. Avoid selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors if you have bipolar disorder. You might find yourself working at a failing flea market trying to sell your art for money. Story 75. Marry the right woman. Someone who eases your stress, supports your goals through actions, not just words, ideally has a strong career of her own, and is someone you can laugh with. Story 76. Not developing hobbies and friends who share those hobbies. Being friends only with coworkers or the parents of your children's friends. Not having people to share the activities you enjoy can be depressing. Story 77. Not saving money. It does not take much, but the time value of money is incredible. Not having fun. Trust me, you are not dead yet. You are a baby. Go have fun. Not traveling. Get out and see the world. I know those are somewhat contradictory mandates, but you can at least take an overnight trip here and there and still save money. Hopefully, the economy is changing. Story 78. Stay fit. Not just healthy or not fat or not sick, but fit. It is hard to do during the child-raising years, but make the effort. The older you are, the harder it is to get fit, but it is relatively easy if you stay fit from a young age. If the idea of spending your later years in an assisted living facility with someone changing your diapers because you cannot get out of your chair to walk to the bathroom scares you, then stay as functionally fit as you can for as long as you can. Story 79. Thinking you have all the time in the world to do things. You probably do, but it only gets harder as you age. Date with intention, save money, eat healthy, and travel. Story 80. Live a lifestyle below your means and maintain that level regardless of increased finances. Save and invest as much as possible. Story 81. Avoid thinking you know. Avoid factoring other people's opinions and social norms into your thought process when making life decisions. Give yourself time for self-care. Avoid anyone who seems too good to be true. Avoid people who are toxic. Story 82. Choose your partner extremely carefully. If you decide to partner with the wrong person and, God forbid, have children with them, it can affect many or all of your years ahead. Story 83. I do not advocate for being a health fanatic because that is a boring way to live life, but speaking from experience, at least develop some healthy habits that are easier to start when you are younger. Once you reach the age of 40 and above, especially if you are prone to health anxiety, you will wish you took better care of yourself in your 20s and 30s. It is not fun to have symptoms after you pass the age of 40, and when you consult the internet, the articles often say things like, "These symptoms are almost always harmless unless you are over 40, then you probably have cancer." Some of the health issues I have now are likely due to years of poor sleep and not taking good care of myself, even though my family history is relatively free of serious disease. Just take good care of your body. You have to enjoy life because you only live once, but you only have one body while you are here, so take good care of it to enjoy life longer. Story 84. Not saving for your retirement. If you do not take it seriously in your 30s, it will require a lot more money in your 40s to catch up. Story 85. Take the time to understand your feelings and talk about them, which will help you become kinder to yourself and a better friend and partner. Story 86. Not exercising, even if it is just walking, is harmful. A desk job can be detrimental if you maintain it for more than 30 years. You need to engage in physical activity every day. I quit working on computers in my early 40s and built a log home. Later, I bought and sold fixer-uppers. I am 74 now with a few aches and pains, but mostly in good health. Story 87. People pressuring you to get married just because of your age is common, especially among Asian parents. However, having children in your 30s is still possible. There is no definite birth clock. Even young people can face challenges conceiving, so it is never too late. I know people who had their first child at 37 or even 40. Story 88. Mentally, just know some days are going to be bad. Don't fight against them. Lean into them for the absurdity. Every day is not going to be the best. Bad days have their own charm. Story 89. I used traditional weights when I went to the gym for the last 25 years, and that was great for building mass. I also ran occasionally for cardiovascular exercise. I found that traditional weights did not raise my heart rate enough, and I was not a fan of running because I did it so infrequently that I developed shin splints, my knees hurt, and so on. I am also more interested in getting leaner than gaining mass. For me, kettlebells provide a low-impact, high-intensity form of training that I can do at home without requiring much space. Story 90. Work out. Save money. Drink water. Regular doctor visits, even if only for an annual physical. Establish a work-rest balance now. Story 91. Take care of your body. I ruined my life by working manual labor, and now I will most likely end up disabled with a bad back in my early 30s. I regret so much. Story 92. Reduce sugar and carbohydrates significantly. Go beyond what feels comfortable. It is better to do this voluntarily than to wait until diabetes damages every nerve-related system in your body. Story 93. Always duck or dip in case something gets difficult. The 30s will come with many opportunities to grow if you are willing to do so. You should get used to stepping out of your comfort zone because you will harvest the fruits later in your life. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.